TV47, the home of untold stories.
Well, the Azimio La Umoja Brigade, led by Raila Odinga, has stayed the course and organized protests in different parts of the country, with leaders in the Azimio camp vowing to do so until the government listens and acts on their demands. We have a lot lined up for you on this edition of TV47 tonight, News Tonight, on this 27th day of March 2023 plus. Tonight, reports of death, injuries and destruction of property as police clash with protesters dominate headlines. Tear gas and stone hurling were prevalent as protesters defied police orders to barricade the roads. Journalists covering the Azimio protest in different parts of Nairobi attacked by goons and their property stolen. So far, security authorities have not provided any official comment on the incidents. And Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki assigns responsibilities to the 3 newly appointed Chief Administrative Secretaries in his ministry, pending the outcome of a court case against their appointments. Good evening, my name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Catherine Simoloy. Now, a cat and mouse chase ensued in many parts of the city as Azimio anti-government protests continued for the second week now. In areas of Mathare, Kawangware and Kibera, police hurled tear gas at the demonstrators, who in return hurled stones at them and put barricades on major roads. This despite IG Koome's remarks yesterday declaring the protests illegal. Zainab Mohammed kickstarts this bulletin tonight.
For the second week now, supporters of Azimio One Kenya Alliance, led by the party's principal Raila Odinga, took to the streets to participate in an anti-government protest, protesting against the high cost of living, among other issues. This despite Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome's remarks yesterday declaring the protest illegal and promising to arrest anyone disrupting peace in the country. The protest was filled with scenes of a cat and mouse chase as the police sought to control the demonstrators. In areas of Mathare, Kawangware and Kibera, police hurled tear gas at the demonstrators, who in return hurled stones at the police and put barricades on major roads. The police were left with a difficult task of putting off the fires and keeping the angry crowd off the protected areas. In last week's protest, one student at Maseno University lost his life. A total of 33 police officers were injured and over 200 people were arrested, including top Azimio leaders. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Led by Azimio La Umoja leaders. Some were even robbed by a gang wielding knives who stole their phones and equipment on site. As Paul Kirobi reports, Kenyan politics is posing a threat to the media, which serves as a watchdog for the common mwananchi. Have a look.
Covering demonstrations is a significant challenge in the field of journalism, while the media plays a critical role as a watchdog for the common citizen and in governance. The efforts of the Fourth Estate face threats while bringing to light those in the political class. In Nairobi, several journalists were attacked while on duty covering the Azimio demonstrations. A group wielding knives attacked journalists from the Royal Media Services, robbing them of their phones and vandalizing their vehicle. Additionally, 2 journalists from Africa Uncensored were arrested by police in Mathare. Africa Uncensored co-founder and veteran journalist John Allan Namu criticized police hostility towards journalists covering the protest. A Nation media reporter covering the protest in Nairobi CBD complained of police harassment, and police reportedly asked the journalist to delete images captured and destroyed the press cards. Monday marked the second protest organized by the Azimio la Umoja Coalition Party over what they term as the government's failure to comply with their demands. The protests have sent shockwaves throughout the country, with politics pitting two political rivals, President William Ruto's government and Raila Odinga's opposition faction. The Media Council of Kenya confirmed reports of violent physical attacks on media personnel, including the destruction of their equipment, and promised to monitor and work closely with law enforcement agencies to ensure that those responsible for the attacks are held accountable. The council encouraged those aggrieved by the media to report any complaints to the Media Complaints Commission, which is legally mandated to mediate on the same, instead of taking the law into their own hands. As the watchdog, the media has been found in the middle of political wars, with some political leaders urging their supporters to boycott their products. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Led anti-Kenya Kwanza government protests in different parts of the country continued. The invasion, which security personnel gave little attention to, follows sentiments by a section of leaders threatening to invade properties of persons they allege to be sponsoring the Azimio protests, with the name of former President Uhuru being among those mentioned. Moige William with more.
Monday midday, reports of an invasion of a farm linked to former head of state Uhuru Kenyatta's family dominated social media platforms. And a spot check on the said farm, which is along the eastern bypass, revealed that persons in their tents were inside the perimeter fence of the farm, and others in their hundreds along the highway were trying to access the property. With a lot of caution, we slowly drove past the crowd building up as the Kamaki's Mombasa Road interlink was temporarily turned into a market, with a number of people selling livestock that is reported to have been stolen by the invaders. After making a U-turn a few meters ahead from where the crowds were milling, we lowered our window pane to speak to a passerby who told us the invaders were selling sheep for as low as 1,000 shillings. On our way back to the CBD, our cameras managed to spot others ferrying sheep with motorbikes. Kenyans took to social media to react to the incident, with online users seeming to connect Cabinet Secretary for Trade and Investment Moses Kuria's tweet to the incident. Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, on the other hand, saying, and I quote, "Today it's clear who is interested in peaceful protest and those who see it as an opportunity to invade people's private property," end of quote. Police officers are said to have failed to respond on time to the incident that took place in the morning. Elsewhere, the East Africa Spectra Limited building situated along Mombasa Road, Nairobi, was vandalized, with suspected individuals destroying property and smashing window panes. Humphrey Waswa, the security and safety manager of the company, stated during a press briefing that the perpetrators fled the scene after the incident. The gas cylinder manufacturing and distribution company is linked with Raila Odinga family, but the vandals did not manage to break into the premises. The reason for the attack is unknown as of now. Moige William, TV47.
Story now. Tonight, Azimio la Umoja party leader Raila Odinga has said he will not retreat in his quest to force President William Ruto to heed to Azimio's demands for electoral justice and the low cost of living, as the opposition's mass action entered the second week with deadly consequences. One person was shot dead in Kisumu, a police vehicle burnt here in Nairobi, and journalists were attacked by hooligans and the police. And as Apollo Kamau reports, police thwarted Azimio's attempt to protest in Nairobi's central business district.
Azimio supporters braved tear gas and water cannons as the opposition's mass action entered the second week, but with deadly consequences. In Kisumu, one person was shot dead in Monday's chaos, while a police vehicle was burnt in Kawangware, Nairobi. Journalists also bore the brunt of the mass action chaos after they were attacked by hooligans and harassed by police in Kibra, Nairobi. In Nairobi, police cordoned off the central business district, confining Azimio leaders and their supporters to Kawangware and Kibra, where they lobbed tear gas canisters and used water cannons on them. Azimio leader Raila Odinga maintained he will not retreat despite the pushback.
Hata wakizuia jaribu kuzuia sisi, haizuliki. Mto Nile itafika Egypt, sawa.
Voices of defiance also loomed large in the mass action in the wake of reports that police wanted to arrest Odinga.
Sasa tuambie hawa, sisi hatubanduki, sisi hatutarudi nyuma, na wakimgusa baba zote tutatokelezea. Lazima bei ya unga ifanye nini? Ishuke.
The opposition bigwigs vowed they will not be intimidated in what they say is a peaceful quest to demand electoral justice and a low cost of living.
Dawa ya hii maandamano Bwana Ruto asikie. Polisi hawataweza. Risasi hazitaweza. Dawa ya maandamano ni unga ifanye nini? Nataka nikuulize baba Raila Amolo Odinga. Wacha kuweka maandamano Monday na Thursday. Weka Monday, weka Tuesday, weka Wednesday, weka Thursday, weka Friday, weka Saturday, na weka Sunday.
Police further lobbed tear gas at Azimio supporters in Kibra in the evening as Odinga's motorcade made its way to Langata Road, ending the afternoon long procession. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Schools within Nairobi Central Business District stayed away from their schools over concerns of security following demonstrations organized by Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. A majority of Nairobi residents avoided the city center as most businesses remained closed. And as Sharon Baranga now tells us, Kenyans want the government and leaders of opposition to agree on the way forward for the sake of reviving the already ailing economy.
At Moi Avenue Primary School in Nairobi, all is silent as learners stay away from the learning institution. Around 1,000 pupils who attend this school were absent due to their fear of facing consequences from the countrywide demonstrations organized by the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. Some of the teachers could not get to school due to lack of public transport.
Kwa kawaida wanafunzi wanafika hapa kuna wengine wanafika saa 11:30. Kwa sababu kuna wengine wanakuja na wazazi wakienda kazi saa 12 hivyo. Lakini kwa leo sijaona hata mwanafunzi mmoja.
Labda kuna ujumbe ambao mliwapa wazazi wasiweze kuleta wanafunzi siku hii, ama wazazi wenyewe waliamua tu hawatawaleta wanafunzi?
Kiukweli hakuna mzazi wote amepewa ripoti wasilete watoto shuleni. Sisi tumeshtuka tu kuona kwamba hakuna mtoto, na hii ni kama wazazi, unajua hii shule kwa wazazi wengi wanakuja na watoto shule, wakienda kazi wanakuja na watoto. Sasa mimi naona ni kama wazazi hawajakuja kazi, wameona hata watoto wao pia wasikuja shuleni.
At Jivanjee Gardens, police officers camped here.
And Jivanjee is one of the most iconic places in Nairobi because that is where we have the Bunge la Wananchi, or the Citizens Parliament. Basically, you'll just find people crowded together, discussing political issues that are affecting the country. But currently, no one is at Jivanjee Gardens. No one is at Jivanjee Gardens. We have no matatus here. We only have police officers manning this street, and very, very few businesses have opened.
A majority of business owners did not open their establishments due to their fear of potential attacks and property damage. Very few people were in Nairobi's CBD, and police officers were spotted in a number of streets within the capital city to maintain law and order. Some small-scale traders, however, opened up their businesses, hoping to earn a living on a day many avoided for fear of insecurity.
A majority of Kenyans want the government and the leaders of opposition to reach a truce, saying demonstrations are affecting their businesses.
Sasa kile mimi ningeomba serikali, kama rais wetu anatusikia na atusikie mzuri, ni akae na kiongozi wa upinzani waelewane vile tutaweza endelea na maisha Kenya hii. Ya pili, hii kitu wananchi wanalia unga, tafadhali ni wakae warudishe uchumi chini.
Siku ya leo, siku ya maandamano, tumeathirika sana biashara zetu za matatu, na ukiangalia maduka, magari, hatuna kazi.
Reduce price ya vitu irudi chini, especially unga. Na sisi tunategemea Waluya juu wanakulanga, kila mtu hapa Kenya anakula. But mostly reduce the price ya vitu chini. Kindly. Tunaomba tu from our bottom of our hearts.
Kama yeye ni hustler kweli, kama president wa hustler, angalie mafuta. Linatumiza sisi sote. Hakuna kitu kingine.
Siku ya leo biashara zimeharibika sana, hasa sisi katika sekta yetu ya matatu. Hakuna watu tunabeba na bado nyumbani lazima tutaitishwa unga. Kwa hivyo mimi kile ningeomba serikali iache kurushiana, iache kupigana na watu wa opposition. Waangalilie kwanza mwananchi wa kawaida bei ya unga. Na ile time tu ataangalia hiyo bei ya unga, hata hii maandamano itakuja kuisha. Hakuna mtu ataandamana ati baba alishindwa ama alishida, bora tu sisi tupungushiwe bei ya unga. Ndio biashara zirudi kama kawaida. Kwa hivyo ujue wakipigana na serikali, sisi ndiye tunaumia hapa katikati. Kwa hivyo sisi tungeomba waelewane, maandamano iishe.
Kama saa hii unaona gari mingi zimelala hapa kwa sababu hakuna watu kwa barabara, na watu wengine wako manyumbani wamekosa ajira. Ningempenda rais wetu wa Kenya na vice wake waweze kuangalia saidi ya watu wadogo na wakubwa, sababu walisema wakiingia kwa kiti pia watateremsha vitu chini. Hatujaona hiyo vitu zao venye wanafanya.
The leaders of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance have stated that the nationwide protests will persist and occur twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays until the government responds to their concerns regarding high cost of living and electoral reforms. Sharon Baranga, TV47.
Well, thank you, Sharon Baranga, for that. Now, many businesses remain shut as protests called by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga entered the second week. This as the business community braced for another day of mass protests called by the Azimio la Umoja leader, announcing that the anti-government protests will take place on Mondays and Thursdays. Chechi Josephine with that report.
As the nationwide anti-government protests went on in some parts of the country, businesses in Nakuru County went on uninterrupted, though on a downscale, with traders and those in transport industry calling for a peaceful environment to operate in.
Nafanya na kampuni ya Prestige Shuttles, na kama unavyoona hakuna wasafiri. Tulifungua kama kawaida saa 9, lakini kutokana na ile directive ya maandamano ni kama watu wamehofia kusafiri.
Tunasafirisha abiria kutoka Nakuru kwenda Nairobi. Magari zetu yako hapa na tunagoja iwapo kama tutapata, lakini hatujui. Lakini tunaomba tu jambo moja, ya kwamba viongozi wote wakubali kukaa chini na wapate jibu ambalo litasaidia wananchi wa kawaida.
Sisi kama wakaaji wa Nakuru, sisi tunasema ya kwamba tupewe wakati wa kufanya kazi. Tunataka amani katika hata taifa letu la Kenya.
In Thika Town, Campbell County, it was business as usual. However, traders said that even in the absence of protest in the town, the impact of protests from other towns like Nairobi had affected their operations, with Nairobi being regarded as a major trade partner to many.
Kazi iko chini sana. Alafu tena tukisikia hii maneno ya maandamano pia hata yeye inatuadhiri kwa sababu wale watu wanaendea vitu Nairobi town kuja hapa inatuadhiri kwa kibiashara.
Some entrepreneurs dealing in land regretted that the sale of land has been faced by numerous challenges, a crisis that could worsen should the ongoing unrest continue. Some took issues with mass action organizers who they claimed were behind the downfall of their enterprises.
That one will kill a lot of businesses, will kill almost the whole industry. It will cripple everything. This is what we eat, this is our business, and we cannot just sit back.
Elsewhere in Kilifi County, Azimio la Umoja woman representative Doris Donya Abori has condemned the current demonstrations organized by her coalition, saying they were counterproductive. Donya instead urged her leader Raila Odinga to explore other means of resolving the current impasse between the coalition and the Kenya Kwanza-led government.
Mimi ile jambo naweza ambia kiongozi wetu wa Azimio, kwa sababu niko Wiper. tuongee na if possible tujiulize nini ilifanya tukaanguka. Sasa kushinda ya kupeleka watoto wetu kwa street na kuswali tu. Maandamano tangu yanza kufanyika Kenya, watu wamefaidika namna gani?
Amani. Amani.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Maendeleo. Maendeleo.
Moving on, the Azimio mass protest organized by opposition leader Raila Odinga failed to materialize in some counties like Meru and Narok. And as Norbert Odro reports, a large number of police officers who were deployed in certain areas beefed up security, making it difficult for Azimio supporters to cause unrest.
As the Azimio leaders march into Meru town to protest against the high cost of living, this was the resulting situation that developed in Meru County, with some leaders ignoring the directives given by the Inspector General of Police, Japheth Koome, who said the demos were illegal. North Imenti Member of Parliament Rahim Dahoud said they will not demonstrate and will only focus on important issues rather than closing shops and protesting.
Lakini tunaambia wale wanapanga hiyo wanataka kupanga kama ile ya huyu Raila, hii haitawezekana hapa Meru, na nimewahi kusema haitafanyika. Tunawangojea tuangalie. Security iko tight.
Azimio leaders in Meru County, among them activist Mike Makarina and the Meru ODM chairperson Jack Munoru, who showed up to protest this morning, were angered after their efforts to protest were stopped by the police officers, who were also accused of arresting some of Azimio supporters.
Watu wangu wameshikwa kama 20. Na ukiulizwa ni nini watu wanashikiwa, sisi ni kuandamana tukisema haki yetu, na haki yetu inajulikana Kenya. Na hata yule askari ambaye ananisumbua, na yule askari hataki tuandamane, yeye mwenyewe ako na shinda ile niko naye. Afadhali kuwa mlemavu kuliko kuwa kwa nyumba unaogopa na unateseka. Mtu ana chakula ako kwa nyumba, mtu anaona ile shinda tunapitia mafuta anateseka.
Kitu kingine, sisi tunaandamana kwa sababu ya maisha kupanda. Sisi saa hizi hatuwezi kuafford sukari, hatuwezi kuafford unga, hatuwezi kuafford school fees, hatuwezi kuafford chochote. Lakini bandala serikali tunaona inaajiri watu wengine mpya, apewa mamilioni ya pesa. Bandala hizi pesa kuteremka kwa mwananchi.
In Narok County, residents defied opposition leader Raila Odinga's call to hold a nationwide protest and instead chose to continue with their normal businesses. Joseph Kimutai, a former Ilmotiok member of County Assembly, now operating in the transport businesses, said businesses are going on as usual, urging leaders to look into laws that will address the high cost of living in the country.
Jambo nataka kuongea kuhusu maandamano. Maandamano kwa njia yetu hawezi tusaidia. Azimio wako na wabunge ambao wako kwa bunge. So apeleke mswada huko wapitishe hiyo biashara irudi chini kwa gharama. Ya pili, tangu mwaka wa 1992 Mzee Raila ametusaidia kubadilisha katiba hiyo muda yote mpaka saa hii. Tunakubaliana na yeye na yale alitenda wakati huo.
Norbert Oduor, TV47.
Now, away from the protests, but still on matters security, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki earlier Monday announced that the Interior Ministry had assigned duties to the 3 newly sworn-in Cabinet Administrative Secretaries appointed by President William Ruto. This comes amid a court order stopping them from assuming office. And as Mike Kagwongo reports, CS Kindiki welcomed the 3 CASs appointed to his ministry, noting that they will begin their allocated duties after the outcome of the ongoing judicial process.
In a statement, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki said the 3 CASs under his ministry will be responsible for the state departments under the ministry. Former nominated Senator Millicent Omanga has been assigned a role in the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services after she was appointed by President Ruto as the Chief Administrative Secretary. At the security docket, Omanga will be in charge of reforms in the civil registration services, the National Registration Bureau, and the Department of Refugee Affairs.
I will perform the functions.
On the other hand, Mohammed Saleh will serve under the State Department for Correctional Services, where he will be in charge of reforms in the Kenya Prison Services. He will also serve under the Postal Institutions and the Probation Department.
Samuel Kuntai Tunai.
The third CAS, Samuel Ole Tunai, has been allocated responsibilities under the State Department for Internal Security and the National Administration. The CAS were among 50 others who were appointed by President William Ruto on Wednesday, March 22nd, to their respective positions and sworn into office. On March 24th, the High Court stopped CAS from assuming office, pending the hearing and determination of a suit filed by the Law Society of Kenya and the Katiba Institute. Justice Hedwig Ongundi also temporarily barred the 50 CAS from earning any salary, remuneration, and any benefit until the court rules on the matter. The case will be mentioned on Tuesday, March 28th for further directions. According to the petitioners, the president cannot constitutionally create an office in the public service, except upon the express recommendations of the Public Service Commission. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Now moving on, the government of Kenya has got every right to privatize Nzoia Sugar Company, but with public participation. This is according to the company's board chairman, Alfred Kangati. And as Sostin Wanji now tells us, the intention has raised mixed reactions among county leaders from across the political divide. Well, we do apologize for that technical hitch right there about the story on Nzoia Sugar's Company, bittersweet fortunes. But I understand the story there by Sustin Wanji is ready. Have a look.
Nzoia Sugar Company board chair Alfred Hangati has broken his silence over the miller's alleged privatization intentions by the Kenya Kwanza government.
Pato.
Speaking to the press in his office, Hangati argues that the entity has not been fruitful and instead it depends on the revenue raised by the government from other entities.
It is something, a subject which has been with us, it has been with the government, and in any case, the chairman, the government has the right to conduct its business the way it wants. Why should you start an entity, and instead of the entity bringing money to you, you are permanently pumping money in?
Hangati has argued the government to prioritize public participation and consider locals for them to give their views before making a decision.
From where I sit, and having participated in the making of the Kenyan Constitution, I know the cabinet passing the decision is not the end of it. It must also come back. I don't know whether that has been done, but the Constitution requires that for every decision which is made, which can impact, which has a socioeconomic impact on the people, there must be public participation.
The intention has elicited mixed reactions among local leaders, with the Bumula MP Wamboka Wanami opposing the move and alleging that the nuclear land has already been sold to individuals.
Hakuna mtu tutakubali yeyote kukuja Nzoia ati wewe unanunua Nzoia. You will be wasting your money because we will not allow you to land in Nzoia. We cannot agree. Pan paper muliua pan paper. Mumias imeuawa. Sasa Nzoia ndio hiyo ati mnataka kuipeleka, haiwezekani. Mheshimiwa Rais William Ruto, haiwezekani.
On his part, Kimilili MP Didmas Barasa argues that the miller's problem will only be solved by installing new machines and disposing the old ones.
Hiyo ndio tumwambia Rais wa Kenya atafute mtu amuuzie kama scrap, wang'oe vitu yote hapa waende nayo waweke mashini mpya ambayo itashaga miwa kwa efficient ambayo ni hali ya juu ili mkulima apate pesa.
According to Crispin Omondi, the managing director of the company, the government's decision to waive 40% of the farmers' debts has resulted in a reduction from over 700 million shillings to 300 million.
Factory continued crashing and with poor recoveries, low efficiency and breakdowns here and there. The debt that we currently owe the farmers is 300 million.
Wanji Sostin, TV47, Bungoma.
Now at about 5:30 our time now for a very short break. Don't go away, we'll be back with more.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories. As you enter a new phase of life, you may seem lost until you discover the passion within.
I'm happy that MKU decided to open a branch in Malindi to make work easier for those parents who have never been away from their kids or children.
That's all the equipment that I need to study and all the facilities that I need.
We have one of the most beautiful and ultra-modern structure.
Join us at Mount Kenya University and Equip Africa Institute Malindi Odell Center to build your future. Intake in April for electronic learning and May for distance learning. Mount Kenya University.
Unlocking infinite possibilities.
Karibuni.
Mount Kenya.
Suluhisho ni mimi na wewe, sote tupate chanjo ya corona ili Kenya tukue chonjo.
Kenya tutakuwa chonjo, sote tukipata chanjo. Jilinde unilinde, sote tutakuwa sawa. Kenya tutakuwa chonjo, sote tukipata chanjo. Jilinde unilinde, sote tutakuwa sawa.
Pata chanjo, tuwe chonjo. Chanjo za corona ni salama na zapatikana kote nchini.
La system yodose hapa panda vid basi likoishi hapo.
Nikamwambia boss, kuna gap. Utafanya nini? Mimi ningeenda kazubu. Ara kataka tu kompompe ntanka. I did it from my head.
Sisi kwetu ni Valentines.
Kila siku.
If you look keenly, mimi nakuanga nampea maua twice a week.
Well, wondering what else your favorite celebrity is all about? Catch the eagle himself. DJ Listening. And your favorite celebrity every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on Dr. Ofueneke Tonight.
There is only one planet in the universe that we know of that can support life. It's called Earth.
Just imagine at our generation wiping out a whole subspecies. Don't you think it's sad?
This world cannot really survive when we live alone. Cannot also survive if lions and rhinos just live alone. We need all the organisms together.
Join us as we get to learn about the animals that live on this beautiful planet every Sunday, 7:30 p.m.
Welcome to the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center, the premier events venue. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed to meet all your needs, from large-scale conferences to intimate meetings and everything in between. Located in the heart of Thika, the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center offers stunning views of the city skyline and is easily accessible from all major transportation hubs. Our facility features ample parking, free Wi-Fi, advanced audiovisual equipment, and our technical team is always on hand to ensure your event runs smoothly and seamlessly. Don't take our word for it. Make your next event unforgettable at the Mwai Kibaki Convention Center. Contact us today for bookings and reservations. Email multimedia@mku.ac.ke or call us on 0708 212204 or 0727 441733 or 0721 438 629 to learn more about our services and book your event. You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, as incidents of Kenyans losing millions of shillings to fraudulent land buying and selling companies continue to rise throughout the country, stakeholders in the industry have taken intentional steps to put to an end this vice. Our reporter Ronnie Regan prepared this report as narrated by Paul Kirobi.
Over 100 firms in the real estate sector have now formed an association dubbed the Real Estate Stakeholders Association, with the sole aim of restoring sanity in the sector that has been infiltrated by unscrupulous cartels who've been swindling Kenyans' money in sham land deals.
So what we have done and what we are doing as a real agent, we have formed an association. It's called Real Estate Stakeholders Association, that will be able to govern those people who are doing this land and selling companies. They are going to be governed by that association, ambayo itashikana watu wote. We are over 100 people. Na watu wameamua. Now we are going to do clean business. We are not going to entertain fraudsters. We are going to weed out all thieves that are doing business in the name of selling land and selling nothing to the society.
According to Zani Properties Limited Chairman Shamton Githere, the association will play a pivotal role in regulating the sector and ensure that all firms are accounted for all land deals with their clients.
And we cannot just sit back and see fraudsters destroying our business. So we have formed that association. Soon it will be rolled out, and the buyer and the seller, they all be safe.
The chairman spoke in Ruiru town on Saturday while issuing title deeds to some 200 land buyers who had acquired property through the farm. He also noted that stringent measures will be taken against individuals and land buying companies owners engaging in fraudulent land deals.
Because we as the sellers, we have a governing body we have an association that is going to take care of the needs of our clients.
At the same time, the chairman called on the government to relook into the proposal whereby real estate firms will be required to deposit 500 million Kenya shillings with the government for them to be licensed and to operate in the country.
Tell our good government that that 500 million is too much. And there are not many companies that are going to pay that amount. So that one will kill a lot of businesses, will kill almost the whole industry. It will cripple everything.
Some of the land buyers who spoke to the press called on the government to legislate stiff policies that will protect Kenyans from exploitation by land farms.
Pesa za kukopa, kwa pesa za loans, kwa pesa za soko, wa mama wa soko kama mimi ni muuzaji wa nguo. Lakini unakuta kwa kampuni zingine wanatupeleka venye haistahili na tunakosa pahali pa kulilia.
They also called for prosecution of companies that have already swindled Kenyans their money through fake land deals.
Sasa tunaomba serikali ya Kenya ichukulie watu kama hao hatua kwa sababu wanafanya vibaya. Tumeshukuru sana.
Now, a section of youth in Kilifi has adopted cultural skills by using the available local resources to earn a living in a bid to curb the increased rate of unemployment in the country. The youth turned up in numbers to showcase their talent and own made business products at the Mekatilili Trade Fair 2023 organized by Nob Digital. Amida Yakub with more.
Emmanuel Baraka, the Mekatilili Trade Fair Organizing Committee chairperson, urged the youth in the region to unite and come up with skillful strategies to better their livelihood by utilizing local resources instead of waiting for bleak employment opportunities.
Baada ya hafla hii tuweza kupata kwamba wale ambao walikuja kuuza bidhaa zao watakuwa wamepata wanunuzi mbalimbali wapya, pamoja na kwamba watakuwa wamepata kujua ni nini hasa inahitajika katika soko.
He said that most youth in Kilifi are now taking up the business space while at the same time promoting the Mijikenda culture, a practice that is gradually withdrawing from the venturing into criminal activities.
Soko hili linawapa tu nafasi ya kuweza kuanza ile safari yao ya kuweza kuongeza mradi wao wa kuweza kufanikisha biashara.
Addressing the youth exhibitors during the trade fair, Kilifi County Deputy Governor Flora Mbetsa Chibule said the county government is upgrading the Mbegu Fund into Wezesha Fund, a low-interest fund aimed at benefiting small-scale businesses enterprises in the county.
Tumekwenda upgrade Uwezo Fund, tumeita Wezesha. Kwa nini itakuwezesha zaidi?
He urged the youth to take advantage of the fund by creating companies and groups within the county in order to benefit from 30% of the initiative earmarked from the special groups.
If you want the true meaning of devolution, it will realize. And we know that youth need to vulnerable in the sense that we want leaders who are kesho.
Victoria Atieno, a team leader of Kujua initiative implemented by Soko Kenya, said that working in non-governmental organization that produces reusable sanitary towels using local available resources is an example enough for the youth to adopt culture in earning a living.
When we make these reusable sanitary towels, I'm not making them. We have a team of women in the community who are parents in the schools we work in, and they're making reusable sanitary towels.
Atieno commended that Mekatilili Trade Fair, saying that such platforms where buyers met the sellers are promoting culture as well. Ms. Fatma Ndamu, founder and CEO of Magic Oil Hair Product, narrated how her efforts to find employment became fertile until she decided to be her own boss in 2021. She urged the youth to unite and start up initiative to earn their livelihood without waiting for white-collar jobs.
Step by step, una grow. Unaanza kutoka chini, unajipa courage, unaendelea, you don't give up.
Amida Yakub, TV47.
Now, residents of Ortum area in Pokot, southwest Pokot County, are still living in fear and panic after heavy rains which continue to pound the area, sweeping away homes and shops. A few of the affected who spoke to TV47 are now urging the government to move with speed and help rescue the situation. However, area member of parliament David Kosing has accused former governor Professor John Lonyangapuo for allegedly misusing funds and resources which had been allocated to develop the area during his time as governor. Kosing also noted that he will move with speed to bring any other well-wisher in the area to help locals who have lost their belongings.
Na mimi naamini tuko na gavana sahihi ambaye anasikia watu, sio kama wale wengine walikuwa wanaweka disaster mpaka time yao ikaisha. Ndipo hata nafikiri Mungu ndiye alituma hao nyumbani. Nafikiri Mungu alituma hao nyumbani kwa sababu karibu anataka kukula ama alikula vitu ambavyo ingetakikana kusaidia wananchi. Mimi nashukuru Mungu tuko na gavana ambaye anaweza kusikia maneno na atafanya haraka ili watu wengi wa Ortum wapate kubahatika. Tungependa kuona kwamba kama mwenzako wako na shida isiyo nafasi ya ukulia ama kwenda kufanyia biashara. Hiyo ilikuwa ni maajabu ambayo tuliona katika kaunti hii miaka zingine. Lakini Mwenyezi Mungu alituletea gavana nyingine ambaye anasikia watu. Kwa hivyo mimi ningependa kuomba yeye na KMCS walete hiyo msaada mara moja. Ya mwisho,
Our Kiambu County Security Team, in partnership with the county government, has announced a 30-day plan to control the manufacture, sale and consumption of illegal alcohol and drugs that have continued to cause damage in Kiambu County. Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi, together with the County Commissioner Joshua and Kanatha, said that the plan is targeted for visitors in pre-urban areas. Kanatha warned the police against conspiracy with brewers and illegal alcohol and drug dealers during the search, saying that those found guilty will be personally held responsible. The governor said the following meetings will also be organized between the county government, the security team and the courts to deal with the issues of small penalties and fines for criminals involved with illegal alcohol and drugs use.
For those 30 days, na hata kama tutaongeza, it will be seen, it will be felt, it will be understood ya kwamba we have resolved, ya kwamba hii mambo ya pombe sasa it is no longer friendly hapa kwetu upande wa Kiambu. And the people to stand in front, hata kama kuna watu watalia, watasema nini, it will be ourselves. Kuna bar enye itakuwa ati unaangalia hii ni shule na hii ni bar iko hapa. Tumeamua hiyo pesa ikae. We are not licensing any bar that is near any institution of learning. Number 2, hizo bar zote zenye ziko huko ndani ya estates. Ukiwa hapa ati kelele ni huku watoto hawalali, hawafanyi homework. Tumesema we are not licensing them.
Irrespective of whether there is a public pressure or not, I think it is our duty to continue ensuring that we eradicate the illicit brews in our midst. I think we all know that it is not a lie that people are really affected by, especially the young one, by the illicit brews in this region, Mount Kenya region.
Areas where we are remaining with the illicit brews, especially the traditional one, like the Changa and the Kangara, maybe the areas of Gatundu North slightly got to improve. Areas of Gatundu itself, Gatundu South, we have to do much there.
Well, moving on, American televangelist Guillermo Maldonado earlier today arrived in the country ahead of his one-week-long trip that will include engagements with top government officials, a business conference, public meetings, and a kingdom business dinner. Maldonado is visiting Kenya at the invitation of Eagles Christian Church International, led by the Bishop Dr. Stephen Mutua, where he'll be the guest speaker at the Great Africa Harvest Conference that will take place between 28th of March and 1st of April and brings together businesses and religious leaders from across Africa.
Happy to be in Kenya. I feel so welcome in this country. And I came here with the word of the Lord. I came here with an assignment from God to bless this country. I want to invite all the business community and the Westham Hotel. We're going to be there, and I'm going to have some principles for you to prosper, because the Bible teaches principles how to prosper. So I want you to come, bring someone, and I want you to have fellowship with other business people. So it's going to be awesome. I am honored to come and bless your country. So I'm here today, and I can pray that the blessing of God be upon Kenya, the peace of God, and God be upon this country. I